Welcome to the Talkin Business Podcast, a podcast for entrepreneurs, business owners, and side hustlers.
So welcome to another episode of Talkin Business. Today, I got a guest with me, special guest. Met him on, Instagram and stuff like that. But when I finally got a chance to meet up with him, we had a real good conversation, and I thought it would be really good to learn a little bit from him, hear about his story. His company is doing major things. So yeah, I'm gonna let him introduce himself for a little bit. Dawaud, I'm gonna say your name wrong, Dawaud.
That's it. You got it right, baby. You got it right.
Right.
I'm Dawaud Muhammad, the owner of Big Printing T-shirt company located out here in the beautiful city of San Leandro, California. You know what I mean? We specialize in garment decoration. We do screen printing, embroidery, DTG, laser engraving now. And so we work with a whole bunch of brands, big, small, wherever you fit in that. And so, that's what we do here, man. We print T-shirts and hats and, anything to make you stand out, you know what I mean? Whether it's your business or service or event, organization, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like I said, I seen you guys on Instagram, and you guys got a major following there. Like, I kind of know a little bit about your story, how you started, like why you started this whole T-shirt thing, and how did that transpire to where you are now?
Man, I started selling T-shirts for one basic reason was I needed a hustle. You know what I mean? I needed something that I can do that wasn't involved in the streets and everything that was surrounded me. You know what I mean? So I actually saw some guys on it was a local area television show, and they was selling T-shirts. I looked, I said, man, that's cool, T-shirts. I mean, we all wear T-shirts, and that's when I was 19 years old. It was in '94. You know what I mean? So I was just a young dude just trying to figure my way out. And I saw T-shirts, and I said, man, that'd be pretty cool. And so I ended up buying some T-shirts from dude and was selling his shirts. And then I wanted to come up with my own designs, and one thing led to another. I ran into a guy who was working at a screen print shop, and he hooked me up with his boss, and I got my first bundle of T-shirts with my own design on it. And I've been doing it like ever since. It showed me a little bit of promise. So, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna roll with these T-shirts, and that's what I've been doing. You know what I mean? So been in for since '94. So that's a few years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 94 is a little. It's more than a few years. You're a veteran.
Yeah, man. Yep. Yeah, I'm a veteran, but I'm still learning, man. You know what I mean? This game always teach you something new. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's pretty cool because I got a pretty young clientele base. You know what I mean? So my customers, man, they keep me abreast on whatever's going on. They keep me motivated, keep me energized, keep me relevant, keep me vibrant. You know what I mean? So when young homies come in here, they looking for X, Y, and Z. I was like, yeah, we got that for you. You know what I mean? They bring some stuff like yesterday a guy came in and he had these, his idea, he wanted to print the shirts inside out. He really wanted the real vintage look. So he was like, man, I want to turn it inside out. And that's how I wanted to be printed. And it's because he liked the way the seams look from the inside out. He's like, man, that's that designer. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, you like it, I love it. I'm like, okay. And so, yeah, it'd be, that's pretty much my story. My story is kind of long and deep, you know what I mean? Because I've been around so long, but that's the gist of it. Started when I was 19 and just been doing the same thing every day, and still here doing the same thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So recently something kind of big happened to you guys, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much you want to go into it, however you want to go into it, but like just kind of following you, man. I was like, I seen this thing where you was talking a little bit about it, power of the PO, if you know what I'm talking about.
Power of the PO, baby.
Yeah. You want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, no problem. So, beginning of the year, we went out there to ThreadX. That's where I met you at, right? That was a big conference, you know what I mean? And I've been really wanting to go to that conference for a while, you know what I mean? I finally got the opportunity to go, and me and my wife, we went out there and checked it out. But the conference was so powerful because this is not a big conference, but it's a very, very intimate conference with a lot of key figures in there. You know what I mean? So we did some networking, and we ended up bumping into a guy. He was on the board for the SGIA, and networked with him, chopped it up with him. But sure enough, when we get back, COVID is kicking in. It was like the beginning of that. And at the California, we shut down.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was looking kind of crazy because, like, never heard of businesses shutting down, never heard of the NBA shutting down, never heard of Coachella shutting down. You never heard of all these different things that you would always know would never stopping. And so when they made it to the point where you couldn't go to work, me and my company, we made a decision that we was going to stay open. You know what I mean? So anyway, time goes by, and we had the situation happen with George Floyd, and the country goes into eruption. You know what I mean? And so the climate really changed from being in quarantine to now being outside protesting. You know what I mean? It's a whole lot of uncertainty. But anyway, we had a client, I can't really say their name, and so we call them Acme Corp. You feel me? So Acme Corp just represents any big corporation. You know what I mean? And so they decided that they wanted to do some shirts in support of the Black Lives Matter movement and stand in solidarity with the Black community. And so they made it for this one order that it had to be done by a Black printer. You feel me? And so when that happened, they sent their regular supply chain like, oh, Black printer, we really don't have one of them. And so they end up calling the guy who I met at the ThreadS conference. He said, you know what? You need a Black printer? Actually, I know something. Let me give him a call.
I know a guy.
Yep. And so he called us up and said, hey man, I got an opportunity. It may be big for you. It's for Acme Corp. They're looking for a Black printer. I'm gonna connect you with the people. And so the guy who was normally doing their screen printing hit us up and said, yeah, man, we had this request come across our desk and you was referred. And so I'm gonna connect you with Acme Corp Direct, and booyah. And so Acme Corp ended up needing 300,000 t-shirts, you know what I mean? And so me and my wife, we debated and contemplated and said 300,000 shirts. And said, okay, cool, when you need them? They said, oh yeah, in 2 or 3 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks? You serious? For real? For real? 2 or 3 weeks? Well, I can't guarantee that we're gonna be able to get you 300,000 shirts in that time frame. So what we did was we told them we can commit to 100,000 shirts.
Yeah.
And so that's what we ended up doing, especially when the artwork came in, and the artwork had a front print, a back print, and a sleeve print. You know what I mean?
God.
So that's 300,000 prints. You know what I mean? So and so we end up doing that order. It worked out great. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And so I had to go on my social media because, to be honest, at that time, it wasn't like we were sitting around not doing nothing. Our business has skyrocketed because when COVID kicked in and when the country shut down, we stayed open. So we had a lot of customers from all over the country tapping in with us. And at that time, I had just implemented Inksoft Core into our situation. And that really kicked in because before that, we didn't really have a website where a customer can go in there and place their own orders. So our orders just went up like this. And I had people from all over the country ask, hey man, you open? You open? Yeah, we open. And so our business was doing really good. So at the time this big order came down, it was a really, really conflicting thing for me and my wife because we got a lot of customers that depend on us. Yeah. And for us to take on this type of commitment would mean that we're gonna have to shut everything down and only focus on this one thing to get this done. So I went on my IG and let people know, you know what, if you're rolling with us, it's going to get a little turbulent. It's going to get a little rocky. You know what I mean? Because we got this big order we got to get done. I couldn't say too much on who it was and what it was, but I just tried to communicate with my customers at once because majority of our clients are on Instagram. That's how they find out about us. That's what they know about us. And so that was it right there. And that was my moment to really show, like, because that was a very powerful situation in regards to like doing 300,000 shirts. And the company that got them, they don't sell shirts. That's not a part of their, their business. They was giving one shirt to every employee in the organization in the US and in Canada. You know what I mean? So it's like, whoa, that means that they've been getting this amount of shirts pretty often. You know what I mean? So I'm like, whoa, this is only one PO. That one PO can actually have on a company and a community. You know what I mean? Because at the time when that whole situation was going down, a lot of companies were doing donations for different organizations and things like that. And my perspective is that's a great thing, but to really have a major impact, it really starts with the money. You know what I mean? So to make a conscious decision to say, you know what, this order right here is going to go to a Black-owned company, and it forces the status quo to have to include us, inclusion. You know what I mean? And so that's what it did, and that money was directly deployed with you know, with action involved, and it's like we had to deliver a certain we have to deliver a certain product at a certain time, and if we did a great job, it should be no reason why we can't continue this process. You know what I mean? And so that was the power of the PO. You know what I mean? So that's where a lot of people can start their activism, is in the purchasing and the procurement department. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh yeah, we're going to donate X amount of dollars. Well, why don't you just look and see how many Black-owned companies are in your supply chain on a daily or weekly or monthly basis? Like, who are you really partnering up with in your supply chain? That's where change is really that's where change really takes effect at. Because, and that's what I was really trying to show is, like, let me show you the power of this PO. Finna show you what it really do. So, and it's a small amount of time, finna show you how we finna expand and how we finna grow, how we finna deploy these resources, and how it's really going to affect us. Not talking about it, not just you know, a concept, by actually living it day to day. You know what I mean? And so that was it was a really big thing for us, and for our clientele base, because they got to at least see it. You know what I mean? Because I know, like, for me, you know, it's not another garment decorator or a fashion company that's Black owned, that's showing, because it could be some that's out there, but that's showing, you know, what it looked like to have these type of orders. And if you don't know nothing, then you probably don't know that exists. But it's like, you know what, man, they did that big order. Okay, it's orders out there like that. You know what I mean? And so that was our whole thing. Like, it was one thing to do the shirts, and it was another thing for us to tell the story. Because a lot of times, a lot of people, we get a lot of success, we get a lot of different things, and we don't tell that story. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like we keep it to ourselves, and that's how I've been for the majority of my life. That's why I'm an introvert, so I don't really get out in front of the camera and do all the talking and all of that. But I had to at this point in time, because I know the communication with my customers was going to be very, very, very minimum. So you know what? Let me go on IG, let everybody know what's going on. Hopefully they see it, and booyah, this is what's happening. And we still going through it. You know what I mean? It's a never-ending thing. You know what I mean? It's a never-ending thing. So right now we expanded our shop. You feel me? We got we were at 5,000 square feet. Now we at 10,000 square feet. You know what I mean? We doubled in our embroidery production capabilities. So now we went from 12 heads. Now we got 24 heads of embroidery. And we just got a DTG machine. You know what I mean? We got the Brother Boat, the big one. You know what I mean? I'm loving that purchase. We also acquired a laser engraver, the Epilogue laser, the 4836. And we also acquired a rock press, you know what I mean? Because at first we were renting our rock, so now we went and made the purchase for the rock, you know what I mean?
Ownership.
Yeah. And so, you know, and we hired some more people, you know what I mean? So we hired like another 5 people, and you know, just constantly growing. And the cool part about it is, to be honest, I say like the power of the PO, like it's that one job, but the reality of the situation is our clientele base has exploded. You know what I mean? So from COVID, from all the networking on social media, and connecting, hooking up our website with the Inksoft situation, that allows for our customers to really place orders online. So we plug in our social media actually to a website. It really shot us up to the next level. So right now we're in 10,000 square feet, and that we're full to the brim right now. You know what I'm saying? And so outside, say we take out that big order, that was a, maybe 2 or 3 week situation out of our life. You know what I mean? That's boom. We put that to the side. The real power was really the power of our clientele base. You know what I mean? Because man, it was really big, and just me getting on our IG, being able to put a face to our company, so to speak. You know what I mean? And it was resonating with a lot of our customers from all over the country. Then people start flying in from all over the country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember watching that, man. Cause I don't know, I almost kind of put myself like in your shoes, right? Because we're in the same game pretty much, right?
Right.
You way ahead doing your thing. But I was like, man, that was so inspiring to see that. And I know on your end it was a risk too, because like being vulnerable, being out there in the open, you could like, expose your business to certain risks. And I was like, that was to me as a printer that's have a smaller shop, it was inspiring to me. And when you say it was connecting with a lot of people, I could see that it was connecting with a lot of people because I know some of the people that was in the industry. I could see their engagement on the posts,
Right.
right? And not only that, I mean, you also talked about it's about money, man. We live in a capitalistic society. Right? A lot of time when we get we see all these craziness that happens with police brutality, with not treating black folks with respect. It comes my I think it's because it's money. If we
Right.
had money, if we had our capital, our finances right, it wouldn't matter. You know what I mean? We'd be doing our thing. But
Right.
since our capital, our money's not right, we almost all in this position. We're always in need of their finance. And
Right.
that one move by this company to be able to just go to you guys and like trust you guys to do that thing, and you guys came through, and
Right.
that's big time.
Yeah,
Big time.
it was pretty dope. And like you said, it definitely, like, it's a capitalist society,
Yeah.
and we gotta have our own capital, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, to be able to hire our own people,
Yep.
not have to rely on others to do for us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have to not be so dependent on what somebody else is doing.
Exactly.
And that's really where the change really happens at. So it's great that, a big corporation or a company can do it, but it's also great for us to build up our own companies and institutions, so where we can offer those type of opportunities to our people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To
Yeah.
be able to say, you know what, I've been seeing you doing your thing. Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna plug you into our supply chain. So get ready. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
get ready. So, you may be, I don't know, selling ink. You know what I mean? Or selling something that our company needs, some IT, some
Mhm.
I don't know, we buy so much different stuff. You know what I mean? So just to plug you into that and allow for you to grow, and we grow at the same time, because that's what it felt like. It's like, okay, you know what, we're gonna put you in the car with us and let you see what this ride feel like. And I got in the car and I said, oh man, this is what it's like. Now I see
Yeah.
how these guys have 16 presses.
Mhm.
Now I see how you guys are at the ISS show picking out all this new equipment. Now I see how you can have giving your employees all these different benefits and all these different perks and everything that you can attract new talent. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I can see how you can expand and how you can grow. And now I see, like, whoa, because I already know been in this business for so long, and going to these shows and seeing like they want $100,000 for that machine right there. Oh, that machine costs 70,000. This
Yeah.
right here, it's like, damn, you got 17 of them. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, whoa, and now I see how
Yeah.
you do that.
Yeah.
Like, I see how you do it. You connect with one or two or
Yeah.
three or four companies like this. And now I understand. That's why I said the power of one PO, and it really opened my eyes up to the type of orders that are out there, because our industry may be looked, because our industry is such a small entry level to get in. You can start off with 12 shirts.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You can start off in your garage. You can start off in your room now with DTG. You can start off so small, but the game is so humongous, where it's like 100,000, 300,000. I hear about these guys right now where they just finished up this one order. It's 500,000 shirts. And the one before that, no, one was 500,000. Then the next one was 750,000 shirts. You know what I'm saying? For McDonald's. I'm like, whoa, that's big. And it's happening right around here, right down the street. And I hear about it, like, okay, now I see how. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, yo, those orders are out here.
Yeah.
And
Once you start getting into that circle, I hear those numbers too, because I do have a lot of friends that's in the industry that has some big shops.
right.
And I hear these conversations and I'm like, okay, I'm struggling to get 48 pieces.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But once you start hearing those conversations, then your mind is, yeah, you getting the 48 pieces, 100 pieces, but you know the capacity or the capability.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The sky's the limit. You know what I mean? So it's got to be, like, so it's the power of POs, but it really was the power of networking. You feel me? Going to the trade show, going to the conference, actually talking to people, you know what I mean? And making yourself just seeking the knowledge, really.
Yeah.
And so, shake a hand, meet a friend. And then also another powerful thing was the power of relationship building. You know what I mean? So like when you get an order, say 100,000 shirts, and you're not used to getting orders for 100,000 shirts, you have to procure these shirts. Where you gonna get them from?
Exactly.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And especially at a time where COVID is really cracking in and supply chains is really funny. You know what I mean? We just happen to build a relationship with this one t-shirt manufacturer called T-Style. We met him earlier this year at the ISS show in Long Beach. He been following us on Instagram for a little bit, so he knew about who we were. I seen them. I made a post who makes dope blank tees, and they had popped up, so I followed them. And then saw him at the show. We made a connection, and we also started buying his masks. We were selling masks. So when COVID kicked in, his company in Los Angeles Apparel was one of the first ones doing masks outside of the Bella masks, right? And so we was buying masks from him, selling those, and build a good relationship with him. And to the point like, hey man, I know we're doing a lot of masks, but I want you guys to buy the t-shirt from me. He's like, okay, that's cool, we'll see. And then when his order come up, like, okay, 100,000 shirts, when you do this type of order, right, especially you using a broker or something like that, they want to provide the shirts for you. You feel me? They want to send you the shirts, and they want you to print them and do your thing. So while we were negotiating and time was of the essence, it was like, okay, well, we can have the shirt shipped directly to you from Gildan and blah, 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 blah. They're going to be coming to you on Thursday, maybe Friday. Like, you need these when? Yeah, we still need it at the same date. Okay, well, if we get the shirts, we can have them shirts here tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they're like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you provide the shirt then. So
that gives you more leverage, and it gives you more.
Exactly.
And you could close the deal faster just because you have the right connection.
Right. And it's going to cost them a few dollars because now they don't save whatever profit, whatever. Yeah. And so, but we call my guy up on the phone and say, hey, bro, we need 100,000 shirts. He said, no problem. I got you. You feel me? I got you. 100,000. He said, send a truck. Cool. You know what I mean? He didn't ask for a quarter. He didn't ask for a dime. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it was great building that relationship, because how we had to go to the standard distributors or something like that to call S&S or Alfred Broder or whoever and say, hey, yeah, I need 100,000 shirts. It's like, okay, yeah, well, we need X amount of dollars.
Yeah, they're gonna have you're gonna have to go through the vetting process.
Right. And if you're not in a position to be able to have shirts in your shop the next day, and not 100,000 at one time, but get us rolling. All right, send us 5 pallets. All right, cool. I'm gonna call you in a couple of days and send me a couple more, because we had a 5,000 square feet facility. We don't have room to hold 100,000 shirts at one time. You see what I'm saying? So the way God work is, it was a lady right down from us, 2 doors down from our unit, and I went down there to see if I can talk her into let me rent some of her warehouse space. So I went down there, And I was like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, hey, I was trying to see if I can rent some of your warehouse. I got this order. She said, oh yeah, I'm sorry, but this weekend is our last weekend. We're going out of business. I said, really? Whoa. She said, yeah. She said, yeah. So I have the end of this month. Then, I got to be gone. But I'm like, well, can I use until you got to be gone? She's like, well, you're going to need a key, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah. So when we talked to my husband, she talked to her husband, and they came and talked to me. And they said, all right, cool, no problem. We're going to let you use this. We're going to let you use the building. I'm like, cool, how much I owe you? They said, you don't owe me nothing.
Wow.
I said, what? Come on, I let you pay. They wouldn't even take any money.
Wow.
And so they gave us the keys. And once I got those keys in my hand, I'm like, whoa, we got 10,000 square feet now. And this place is empty. You know what I'm saying? This place is empty. And it was like, whoa, now we can really make this happen. It's like everything was lining up for us to be able to make this happen so smooth. It was flowing like water, you know what I mean? And so later that night, I talked to my wife. I'm like, man, that'd be dope. Maybe we should get the spot since they moving out. She's like, man, you know what? That'd be cool, but we should get the spot next door. I'm like, what? Spot next door is a guy already there. So I know that'd be cool if he was to move. I'm like, who's gonna move that business, right? So anyway, the next day I'm talking to my buddy in the back, and he's looking like, hey, Dawoud, you got the spot right there? I'm like, I don't know, but I want to get dude's spot right there. He's like, Rud, I'm finna go talk to him right now. So dude was out there and he was loading his truck up with some mattresses. He sell mattresses. And so I went over there to talk to him. I'm like, hey, hey man, did you get the place? I'm like, I don't know, but if I did get it, would you switch with me? He said, what? Man, you see this stuff? I got these mattresses stacked high to the ceiling, man. It took me a month and a half to move all of this stuff, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, check this out. What if I took care of that for you? He said, I don't see no problem with that. I said, what? Oh my God, man.
Things are just lining up, man.
Man, it was flowing like water. He said that. I called my wife. I said, hey, we need to talk to the landlord, because at the time he was showing the building. You know what I mean? Because the lady, she's moving out. So we went over there, talked to the landlord. He was not enthused about us renting the place next door. He like, oh no, I don't like to rent 2 units to one tenant. I lose one tenant, now I lost 2 units. He didn't want to do it. Yeah. And so we talked to him, and he saw the passion in our eyes, and we've been with him for a long time. So we finally came up on the deal. He said, all right, cool, let's do it. And so we did it, and now we got the spot next door. And so once we got the spot next door, it was just, everything was lining up. So now we got the unit, and we're still in the process of doing the big order. We're still in the middle of it. You know what I mean? So we still in the middle of it and getting that done. Now we got a place. Now we got a facility where we can have all the shirts there. You know what I mean? So we were saving money on logistics, on getting pallets trucked in from LA every other day.
Yeah, that would have been a mess.
Yeah, it worked out. It worked out very, 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 very swell for us, and it's still working out that way. And I say the power of the PO, but it's really the power of God. You know what I mean? This is divine. You feel me? So the power of PO is like a great way to tell a story. It get people tied in. It was relevant for that time. It was relevant for what was going on, but it's really the power of relationships, the power of networking, the power of stepping out on faith. You know what I mean? Like, we was crazy enough to actually think that we could get the place next door. I was crazy enough to actually go ask this guy to move his business.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can imagine if somebody said, hey, would you move your business next door? What?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just a ridiculous request. So when I asked the guy, I said, man, it's going to sound crazy, but would you be willing to switch if I did? And he said no. And then I said, well, what if I took care of whatever that problem you thought it was? And he said yes. And it just worked out. And it turned out that he really liked the other building. You know what I mean? He looked at it. He went over there and looked at it. I wasn't even there. When he went and looked at it, he saw the layout of it. It was a better suit for him. So it was really working in both of our favor.
Yeah.
And
like the people say, win-win.
It was definitely a win-win situation.
Yeah.
And it just worked out. It worked out great. And so, like I said, it's just the power of God, power of, actually believing in yourself and being crazy enough to actually try it, to actually say something, to actually go for it, to actually do it. Like, you know what? We thought about it that night. The next day, we walked in that direction, and it actually happened.
Yeah.
And now we got 2 units next door to each other. And
Yeah.
the beautiful part about having it next door is you can expand without moving. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go, I don't have to go rent no truck. I didn't have to shut my business down.
Yeah.
I didn't have to move nothing. We knocked out a wall or 3. We knocked out 3 walls and just merged the 2, and then continue. The press is still running, embroidery is still going, phones are still being answered, and our company is still growing. And it was such a beautiful thing, man. And it was really beautiful. And so I just think, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, if you're an entrepreneur, you got a creativity side to you. You know what I mean? And you got a lot of ambition. You know what I mean? So it's like, just follow that ambition. Just really just go after it. Like, you know what? You got the vision. Now act on it. It may sound crazy.
Yeah.
It may sound crazy. It may be. It may sound like, man, who would do that? Try it anyway.
Try it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the only way it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And when you say that, this year, I've been trying to make a lot of purposeful decisions in my business, right? And a lot of those decisions are like, I'll say they're scary, but not life-threatening, but they're scary, you know what I mean?
Like what?
Like try to get a partner in your business. That's a big move. So that's scary, right? Or trying to purchase another equipment because I kind of knew down the line we was gonna be busy, but then the cash ain't fully there. So do you make that decision right then and there to because I knew election season for us was gonna be crazy. So do we do that, right? Do we I wanted to like develop this like little offsite team. I was kind of scared about that, but I still went ahead and do it. So a lot of these things I find like the stuff that scares you the most is the stuff that, man, you just close your eyes and as best as possible just go and do that thing, man.
Right.
Because that's wherever that fear is, behind that fear is where the success lies. For some reason, they always put that fear in front of the success, you know what I mean? Or that obstacle. So you have to just go through that fear, or go around that thing or whatever.
Right, go through it.
Yeah. Just because you won't be able to level up until you kind of like face down your fears, man. Like, and
have get out your comfort zone.
Yeah, have tough conversation with people, or you know, maybe it could be like somebody that you was like for example, for us, somebody that was with us for a while, but we kind of saw that they capped out and we couldn't grow further with them. Do we have that tough conversation? We love them, but like, bro, it's not if you can't like keep up with what our customers demand.
Right. And you got to put the business first.
Exactly.
You know, at all times, because the business is it's like a baby. You know what I mean? If you mistreating the baby, I mean, you got to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like you got to cultivate it, you got to nourish it, you got to be on top of it. It's like a living, growing organism, like for real. You know what I mean? And so you definitely got to step out on faith. And a lot of times when you make that step, you're like, damn, what was I gonna do if I didn't do it?
Exactly.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, well, we got this. Now we got another 5,000 square feet, and then a month later, we asked ourselves, like, what was we gonna do if we didn't?
Yeah.
Because that 100,000 pieces, that was only for 2 weeks, right? That stuff came in and out. It's gone, right? But we fill it up right now with product in 10,000 square feet. You know what I mean? That means that God saw, say, hey, you got a tsunami on its way. You better get prepared.
Yeah.
All right, let me wake you up. You know what I mean? Because you may, like for us, I didn't know how much business we was actually having. I'm just working. And then you get something that's big that comes, and then it kind of like put a joke like, ooh, 100,000, that's 40,000, that's 40 pallets. We're gonna put 40 pallets at. How are we gonna build work that. So you got to start busting moves. I wouldn't have went over there, talked to the lady about leasing her spot. I wouldn't know that she wasn't going out of business. I wouldn't know that was available. I wouldn't have been motivated heavily to try to negotiate a deal. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't have been crazy enough to ask the guy next door to actually move. And then I wouldn't have been, because the situation happened. I know everything is all divine, but sometimes you tap into it and sometimes you don't. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's more conscious, you're more conscious of it, and sometimes you're not. You know what I mean? But it's always going on no matter what. You know what I mean? And it's really beautiful if you recognize it and be conscious of the power, because when you are, then it's really nothing that can really stop you. And it's crazy because when it came down, right, and we got our team, so we doing what we doing, trying to get prepared. And I'm like, you know what? It's cool to get this job. That's great. But what's bigger than this is a story behind it. Yeah. So yeah, we can go print these shirts and everything, but how can we really, really shoot it higher than this? Higher than printing 100,000 shirts. Yeah. Well, we gotta tell the story. Well, we need to put it in front of a platform that's going to be big. So we was plotting and like, it'd be dope if we was get on Forbes. If we was to do ooh, woo, 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 this and that. Start like actually believing we can do something bigger than that. It's like, oh, well, how do you get a story out there? We gotta call it something. You gotta come. You know what I mean? And so it started coming up with all these different ways to put it out there. And then we was working so much that we had to rent a room around the corner. We was working 24/7. And as we checking into the hotel, we was talking to the young lady at the desk, like, oh yeah, what you do? She's like, oh yeah, I'm going to school. I think she was from New Zealand. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm out here in San Francisco and I'm going to school as for a journalist. I interned at Forbes. I'm like, at Forbes? Really? I'm like, oh man, this is just keep flowing, man. It just keep flowing.
So you got in Forbes?
Well, we got in Forbes, but we didn't get in Forbes. And what I mean by that is, when I talked to her, she was just a light to let me know that we can do it. Yeah. But she wasn't able to make it happen. But I called my other buddy, and I told him about our situation, our story. He was so motivated. He said, man, I'm going to call my people at Forbes. I'm going to call my people at Black Enterprise. I'm going to call my people. He got us in a couple of different articles. So he hooked us up with the editors over there at Forbes. We did a meeting with them in a Zoom call, and then we did a little quick questionnaire. And so once we did all of that, they ended up writing a story about the power of the PO, but they tailored it around one of their advertisers that was based in Detroit, and then whoever was connected with them. So it was like the story, but it just didn't include us. So we basically used us as like consultation or something, you know what I mean? Which was cool because at the end of the day, it's really about the story getting out there. If we got some publicity off of it, great. If not, some other Black people got some publicity off.
More for inspiration, you know what I mean? For out there.
Right, you know what I mean? But we end up getting a write-up in the Apparel News, and they did a story on us. The KQED did a story on us as well. And we had another story with Gildan did a story on us. And then we did our own little stories. You know what I mean?
But so, I think your story through your channel was the most powerful. I'll say that. Through, I mean, I'll say through your Instagram channel. I think that's, So check this out. So, I mean, you've been doing this thing. I mean, and we almost done just because I know you're busy and you got to do your thing.
It's all good, man.
Like, business ownership is hard, man. Like, I've been doing this thing for 4 years. I got a hat on because I got a lot of gray hairs.
Me too.
And before I started, I didn't have that much gray hair.
So you get wise.
But you know what? Like, to me, that's been the most fulfilling time in my life as far as like, you know, because I could see like the work that I put in is starting to like pay fruits, and I'm starting to see some of the results, right? So what's some of the things, like, we know it's hard, business is hard. What's some of the things that you enjoy about just having your own business? What's some of the things that like drives you just to like keep you going and stuff like that?
So for me, having my own business, like the main one of the main things is just the independence that it gives you, right? So you don't have to conform your personality or whatever to fit in somebody else's business, because either you work for yourself, you're gonna work for somebody else. You're still gonna be in somebody's business. You know what I mean? And so as I was growing up, I knew that that we wasn't being schooled enough to where we was going to be able to qualify to make a lot of money. You know what I mean? And I come from a background that's different from say the status quo. And so my language is a little different. My tone is a little different. You know what I mean? I speak with a different dialect, you know what I mean? And my culture is just different. And so for me to be able to be me, I need to work for myself and be independent. So that's one of the main joys, are one of the main privileges that I have far as being a business owner. And then being in this business, it feeds my creativity. You know what I mean? Yeah. It allows me to really be creative and do fly stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so like all my life I've been in, not say been into fashion, but yeah, I've been really conscious of fashion. You know what I mean? Been conscious of outfits and dressing and brands, and you know what I mean? And so when I got into this business, I wanted to do t-shirts because, oh man, we wear shirts. I didn't even know what it was called. Like, ooh, print my own t-shirt, put my own design on the t-shirt. When I realized that I can actually do that, like, whoa, I can put my own vision on the shirt. Cool. And then that was so rewarding for me, was to be able to create something that I thought was dope, put it out there, and other people would gravitate and feel the same way about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, and so that's one of the major pleasures that I get, and just really just doing creative stuff with some cool people. You know what I mean? Like our clientele base is like, man, we got the dopest clients out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Cats who've been in this game for a while, and some who just their first time, and they come with just that raw, unfiltered, just raw talent, you know what I mean? Raw ambition, just like want to just get into the game. And so that's one of the main pleasures and main blessings that I see far as being in the business owner. And to have a business that's successful is cool, because you know, when you're just starting out, it's all these uncertainties. You don't know what tomorrow may bring. You don't know if you're making the right move. You don't know if whatever you're doing is correct, because you don't know. And you're going to fail, you're going to lose, you're going to fall, you're going to stumble. It's not going to be peaches and cream. And it may seem like, you know, you're making a bad decision, because I know in our community, entrepreneurship is not really celebrated like that. You know what I mean? It's what's celebrated is going to getting you a good job, and that's what's celebrated. But actually starting your own business is like, ooh, you sure you want to do that? You know? When I told my buddies I'm finna start selling a t-shirt, they looked at me like I was crazy. Yeah. You finna sell t-shirts? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, fool, t-shirts. We all wearing t-shirts. What are you talking about?
It's big business, man, but most people don't see that.
They don't see it that way, but now that's definitely changed. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now it's very, very trendy, very, very fashionable to have your own fashion brand. That's part of the cool thing to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. Being an entrepreneur is one of the most natural things I believe a person can do. You know what I mean? You don't have to have this. There's no requirements. There's no certificates you have to have. There's no you don't have to pay no entry fee. You can just decide that, you know what, I'm gonna buy this, or I'm gonna do this for money, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, man. So yeah, man, we learning a lot about you and your business, and you're doing your thing with your business. Besides, like, if you want to just kind of give people a little bit of look into your life, what do you do for fun? Well, like, what excites you outside of work or stuff like that?
I would say the thing that excites me outside of work is my family. You know what I mean? I got two little girls, you know what I'm saying? So being able to spend time with them and chill with them, and, you know, go do things with them is it's real rewarding, just to be a good dad. You know what I mean? And so that's like that's my release or whatever. Yeah. And so so now we're setting up our lounge. Everything that I do is really for them. So when they come here, they can be excited about coming here, because for me, that's the best of both worlds. To have my family close to me and doing something cool. You know what I'm saying? And so we can go out and go hang, go here. Well, it's a lot of limitations now with COVID and everything. But you know, before we used to be able to go to the movies and all of this different stuff.
Yeah.
But now, you know, it's only certain places we can go. But we just chill out and hang. So being a dad is the best thing, or the other thing outside of my business is really that bring me great satisfaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's almost the same thing over here, man, because I got three young kids.
Mm.
So yeah, getting to hang out with them and just watch them grow is like it's the best thing. It's the best thing you could ever do in life is to like reproduce, but to
Right.
like watch that whole process, watch that whole journey.
Ride and trip out over that.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it's like
Yeah,
an awesome thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
nothing like it. That's the man. That's what it's all about. You know
yeah,
what I mean? That's
yeah,
what it's all about. So you know, I started when I was 19, so it was my first baby. You know what I'm saying? It was
yeah,
my first real relationship, my first commitment. You know what I mean? Because you start your business, that's a real commitment. You know what I mean? And if you're really dedicated to it, then it's a real commitment.
yeah,
It's like, okay, good or bad or whatever, I'm sticking it through. You know what I mean? And the business is a reflection of you. So it's a
yeah.
major commitment. And you know, I've been committed to it forever. That's how it feels, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah,
yeah.
that's how I feel. Mhm.
What's one thing maybe I'm not
Mhm.
smart enough or I don't know enough, like right now that I could ask you that you possibly could share with, say, somebody that's probably just starting out on their own little business journey?
Mhm.
What's one thing I may have forgot to ask you? I'm not
Right.
even thinking about.
Well, Well, I would say like one thing or one key, the main key to me, I believe, is whatever you do, is pick something that you're passionate about. I know it sounds real cliche, but the reason why it sounds cliche because it's true.
It's
You feel
true.
me? And so it's like you have to be passionate about whatever endeavor you decide to embark on, because you're gonna have to rely on that passion
Yeah,
when times get tough. You're gonna have to rely on that passion to fuel you. That's gonna be your fuel. That's gonna be your energy. Is that passion that
yeah,
you have for whatever it is. So you know, in business, you don't get paid to do it, right? You pay to do it. You feel me? So like when you decided whatever business you're gonna go into, you have to go into your pocket or go into your time, go into your resources, whatever it is,
yeah.
and pay up front.
Yep.
And then hopefully, if you
Hope
good at what you do, you
right
get
on.
yours on the back end. So that's the way nature is. God say, you know what? You want to grow a crop, well, you better be over here planting some seeds, and you better be over here cultivating this land, and you better be giving it some time. And then if you do a good job, then you will get your crop. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
And so that's what it is with business. So just hopefully you spending your time every day on something that you are so passionate about that you are paid to do it,
yeah.
because that's what it's going to cost. It's going to cost you your time. It's going to cost you your finances. It's going to cost you some relationships. It's going to cost you your sanity. It's going to cost you. It's going to try. It's going to try you on all ends, because you're trying to go into business, and
Yeah,
business requires that. But if you're passionate about it and during the way you're getting fulfilled, like if you're a creative and you're doing something that is creative, then that right there is payment within itself. You know
yep.
what I mean?
That's
If
true.
you're learning how to, say you bought some new equipment or you want to bring in a new service, and you go from knowing nothing about it, the only thing you know is that you want to do it. And now that you presented with the opportunity to learn to do it, then that right there, once you go from knowing zero to learning, be at a 10 or 8 or something,
Yeah.
that right there is the biggest payment you can ever receive. You know what I mean? Is
Mm-hmm.
to learn how to do something that you didn't know how to do, but you just wanted to do it. And now you're an expert, or you're good at it enough to where people seek you out and pay you to do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I know when I got my first screen print press, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know anything at all. The guy gave me a 2-minute crash course and said, all right,
Go ahead.
this does this, that does this does that, and don't call me no more. You know what I mean? And so when he did that, I said, all right. I had to go to the house, and I was in the house man, in the garage setting this job up. It was maybe a 3-color print. It took me the whole weekend to get it registered in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was passionate enough, and I wasn't finna take no for an answer. I was stubborn enough not to give up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that passion is what you're gonna have to utilize for your fuel to get you through those times, because the game is gonna test you. I don't care what it is or what it is you're trying to do, but you're gonna be definitely tested with some failures and some setbacks and some mishaps and some learning experiences. That's gonna cost you a couple of dollars. You know what I mean? It's gonna cost you a lot of wasted time. You know, but just make sure you're doing something you're passionate about. Money can't be it. It can't be the money, because you can get paid doing a lot of other things. You know what I mean? So the money is just the end result. It got to be something else that's going to fuel you. You know what I mean?
Man, that was amazing. That's good, man. Yeah, man. So if somebody want to get in touch with you, somebody want to do business with you, you want to just let everybody know what you do, how to get in touch with you, like what's new with you, whatever.
Got it. Well, the best way to get in contact would be to give us a call. And we have 510-638-2782, or send us a big old email at bigprinting@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And if you want to see some of our work, you can go on our IG, at Big Printing on Instagram, at Big Printing on Twitter, at Big Printing on TikTok. Basically on all social media platforms, we add Big Printing. And so, yeah, and it'd be kind of hard to, I ain't gonna lie, to get in contact with us. We're not the easiest ones to catch up with, you know what I mean?
That's because a good problem.
Yeah. So, you know, our phones be off the hook, our emails be off the hook, our DMs be off the hook, everything is off the hook. And, you know, we prayed for it to be off the hook. I wanted to see what it feel like to have an Instagram that was popping. I wanted to see what it feel like to have a phone that's ringing off the hook. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's one of our challenges that we have to, a problem that we have to solve is how do we contain and be able to handle all of the growth, you know what I mean? And that's one of those things that we're working through right now. Like, how do we be able to get in contact with our customers faster, or give them access to us more easy, you know what I mean? Yeah, and so that's one of our learning things that we're going through right now on a day-to-day basis, trial and error.
Yeah. Hey, Dawaud, man, thank you so much, man. You shared so much and conversation, man. We could do this all day if you wanted to.
For real, for real.
Yeah, but thank you so much. Thanks for talking business with us.
It's all good, man. I appreciate you for having me on here, man. It was an honor, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, keep up the good work, man. I see you very ambitious, man, doing your thing, you know, doing your podcasts, man, doing all your shirts and everything. I'll be seeing you on IG, man. But yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to Talkin Business Podcast, hosted by Gavin. Share and tell your entrepreneur and side hustler friends about this podcast. Connect with the host Gavin by visiting his website, gavinstgeorges.com, or follow him on Instagram at gavinstgeorges. Don't miss the next episode. Be sure to subscribe and listen. We're on major podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. Talk to you soon.